Gentlemen, at a time when the country is looking at spiraling COVID cases, even though there is some softening, the jury is still out on whether there is a need for a complete lockdown to break the chain. There are more experts, industrial bodies, medical researchers who recommend a lockdown for arresting this spread of the virus. Not just these bodies. In fact, the call for a complete lockdown is not just from these quarters, but also the Supreme Court, who yesterday asked the centre to consider imposing a lockdown. The court, also taking cognizance of the financial impact on the needy, said the apex court feels that if such a decision is taken, then the centre must assist the needy and the poorer classes. India's COVID task force has minced no words while telling the government that only a lockdown will control the speed of the virus, calling it the only scientific method of controlling the ravaging spread of COVID in its second wave. Even Bihar's medical association, citing the struggles of the medical community and work overload, has called for a lockdown for the health of the doctors and our COVID frontline warriors. Global Voices have recommended lockdown long ago. The medical advisor to POTUS, Mr. Fauci, has called for a national lockdown to help India's progress in the long run. In the ongoing debate, of course, there are those in the favor of the lockdown who say that this possibly might be the only way to capture the spread of the coronavirus. But there are others who also raise the question of livelihood. Last year, we did see the 4-month lockdown and the fact that it had an economic impact that really impacted every segment of the society, more so at the lower levels of the economic chain. But with the debate on livelihoods and lives, the question is a tough one to make a choice. And tonight we will be joined by experts to debate on this particular issue. And therefore, the legitimate question on the News Hour tonight is just one: does India need a national lockdown? The choice is between lives and livelihoods. That's the debate coming up.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And to look at the two aspects of lives and livelihoods, I'm joined by the best in the country, Dr. Guleria, Director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, of course, who has been looking very closely at the coronavirus spread. And also joining me tonight is the MD of SpiceJet Airlines, Ajay Singh. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. Dr. Guleria, I want to ask you, with the numbers looking the way they are, with the health facilities stretched the way they are, with the fact that the vaccination drive is still finding itself some teething troubles in extending it to the age group of 18 to 45, do you think we have any option but for a national lockdown? Because numbers continue to worry everybody.
So I agree with you that we are seeing a huge spike in the number of cases. And this is suggestive of widespread community transmission. We are seeing a large number of families getting affected, people getting infected in huge numbers, which is causing a huge strain. You see in Delhi, there's a whole issue of oxygen being available. There are patients who are waiting outside hospitals for a bed. So there is a huge surge in the number of cases. And one of the solutions, along with improving the infrastructure, is to break the chain of transmission. To break the chain of transmission, when you're having widespread community transmission like that, the policy of testing, tracking, isolation does not hold true. The only thing that you can now do is have a lockdown, especially in those areas where your positivity rate is high, where you'll find that more than 60% of your beds have already occupied for COVID positive patients and you are running out of beds. In all these areas, you must have an aggressive lockdown, because you will otherwise lose lives. You will also have a whole issue of the transmission continuing and more people getting infected. So my own feeling is that in areas, and this is what has been recommended also, that in areas where your positivity rate is more than 10% or more than 60% of hospital beds are full, which are dedicated for COVID, there is no other second choice but to have an aggressive lockdown. And the reason why I'm usually saying the word aggressive is that having a weekend lockdown or having a night curfew doesn't work. You have to break the chain of transmission, and understanding that the incubation period of the virus is around 14 days. A 14 days lockdown will only help in breaking the chain of transmission. And unless we do that, we will not be able to save lives, and then the issue of livelihood only comes when you have saved people's lives. If they're not alive, then the question of livelihood doesn't really arise. The second important thing to remember is that we need to develop a strategy from what we've learned last time in making sure that those who are daily wage workers and those who suffered last time, we can protect them. At the same time, essential services can continue, oxygen supply can be there, hospital can be properly provided for, and things can be done in a better manner from what we've learned from the past. But unless we break the chain of transmission, hospitals will continue to have huge loads of patients, and we cannot have this cumulative load because the healthcare system is already stretched. We at AIIMS have now almost 1,000 patients admitted, and we still have more than 120 patients in our emergency waiting for a bed, and ambulances outside, but we have run out of oxygen points. What else can I say that we need to have some sort of a lockdown to decrease the number of cases? The healthcare system is stretched to its limit. So I would really plead that we should look at some sort of a containment or lockdown, especially in areas where there is widespread community transmission and positivity rate is very high.
Let me get in Mr. Ajay Singh. And Ajay Singh, I want to ask you, we've seen the economic impact. We've seen how airlines suffered. That's one part of the story. We've seen how companies have suffered. We've seen how production in large establishments have suffered. We've also seen the migration of workers taking place from urban to rural areas, possibly increasing the threat of the virus spreading to the rural hinterland. At this point in time, do you think the situation that we are in is worse than what it was last year? And do you think we can afford another lockdown so close to the last one and still hope for some sort of a recovery in a hurry?
Well, there's no question that the economic impact of a lockdown is absolutely enormous. It's devastating. It's devastating for the economy. It's devastating for companies. It's devastating for employees who work in those companies. It's especially devastating for those at the bottom of the pyramid and, daily wage laborers and people like that who really just about manage to survive by working on a day-to-day basis. It's also terrible for government finances. The ability of government to really help also depends upon the taxes that they are collecting. And in a lockdown, of course, they collect very little. And so it's devastating all around. And therefore, I think the government has been saying that this should be a last resort. But the question is, have we got to a point when we need to exercise that last resort? And I think for that, we have to go by the advice of the medical professionals. We have all seen what's happening in the city of Delhi, in other cities around the country. The healthcare system, of course, we keep talking about augmenting the healthcare system, building up capacity, but those are all long-term solutions. At this point of time, there are no beds, oxygen is limited, people are actually just dying outside, just waiting for a hospital bed or an ICU bed. I think this is something which is devastating for the rich and poor alike. It's a situation that I've never seen in my entire life. And if medical advice now is that we need aggressive lockdowns, especially in areas where positivity rate exceeds a certain number or hospital resources run out, which I suspect is in a very large number of places already, then a lockdown it has to be. Perhaps it can be a short-term lockdown. Perhaps it can be a couple of weeks, and we just have to bear it. It's devastating, but But perhaps, what is that last resort, and when is that point
So,
of
Doctor-
last resort? It really depends on medical advice.
So, Dr. Guleria, I want to ask you, we're seeing, the practical situation in the country. We're seeing many states announcing lockdowns. We're seeing, Maharashtra, where there is a lockdown. Haryana has announced a week's lockdown. Delhi, we're in the third week of a lockdown. There are other places where these lockdowns have happened, but I'm seeing limited success of these lockdowns on the overall numbers. So, Dr. Guleria, I want to ask you, and this is a question many of our viewers want to know from you on a practical level. This is no longer a theoretical advice. At a practical level, we've seen the effect of the lockdowns in various states, and do you think it's yielding the results, or do you think we will have, even if it's the last option, we will have no option but to go in for a national lockdown like last year for a limited period of time, as Mr. Ajay Singh has pointed out? Is that something that we can avoid any further?
So that's the main point. If we are able to look at the pandemic and see how it moves, and this is a moving pandemic. We had a huge number of cases occurring in the western part of our country, in Maharashtra, but that seems to have stabilized. And now we're seeing a huge number of cases in central India, UP, Punjab, in Delhi. And now, and I feel subsequently it will move more towards the east, and we'll see increasing number of cases there. So as in areas where we're seeing a surge in number of cases, we should have an aggressive lockdown. And the reason why I keep saying aggressive is that the lockdown that we're seeing in many areas is actually not serving its purpose. If we have a lockdown which really prevents the community transmission, doesn't allow people to come out, this is a virus which spreads from human to human. It doesn't spread by any other manner. If you are able to prevent humans from coming in contact from each other, the virus will not spread, and the transmission will die down, and the cases will come down. But we have to understand that, and all of us have to participate in doing that. If we have a lockdown and people still go out and start having meetings or start sort of interacting or having get-togethers, then the whole purpose of the lockdown is lost. So that's why I'm saying, when we're talking of a lockdown, it has to be implemented in the true spirit that we're talking of. If it's done in that manner, and there is now enough data from Europe and UK, which has really shown a huge decline in the number of cases. The success story of what UK has today, and they're now opening up, even looking at having various activities, is because of the fact that they were able to implement a graded lockdown. You could look at a graded mechanism so that the economy doesn't suffer that much. And in those areas where, like I said, transmission rate is very high, be very aggressive. But in those areas where you still feel that you are able to manage, have a lesser degree of aggression, but make sure that there is less movement of people, so that the areas from where there is high transmission doesn't go to areas where there is low transmission. So a strategy can be developed. And like has been said, you could evaluate it on a short-term basis, and even sort of start unlocking as early as possible once you find that your cases are coming down. So it's possible to do it, but I think currently it's very important that you do that. Number of cases that we're seeing, and for doctors, it's something which is really heartbreaking. I've had a patient just day before yesterday who, I've known her for 20 years. She's been my old patient. She's an elderly lady with asthma. She had a fracture of her hip, because of which she was wheelchair bound. Her oxygen saturation came down to 70, and they were struggling for an ambulance. No ambulance was willing to take them unless they had a confirmed bed in a hospital, and most hospitals refused a bed. Ultimately, in the night, they took her to the drawing room, all sat around and prayed and just allowed her to die. This is what is happening. So we have to look at how can we do this. These are stories which we're hearing every day. We have to really work on trying to decrease the numbers.
So Dr. Guleria, what you're saying is that it is a moving pandemic, and therefore a national lockdown may not be necessary. Are you saying that it can be in certain areas? What happens? Trains are passing through various states. There are flights that are coming, at least domestic flights that are flying. can we go ahead and control the spread if these activities are on? And that is why I'm asking, are you saying a national lockdown is not necessary like the one last year, even for a limited time, and local lockdowns in specific states will serve the purpose? I want to get an very unequivocal answer from you on this. What's your advice?
So my advice would be, if we can stop movement of people, travel from one area to the other, and we have an area where we are saying that we can allow local travel but not interstate travel or inter-district travel or travel by flight or by road or by, let's say, by the train. At the same time, we allow essential services to go on. We could still look at a sort of a model which is hybrid. But if that doesn't work, and it may not work, then we are looking at something which is at a national level. But I still feel that we may be able to manage if we are able to have aggressive activity limitation in areas where transmission rate is high. We totally stop people going out, whether it's through by air, by road, or by train, and thereby prevent the spread of the infection. And in those areas where there is very low transmission, allow activities, but don't allow people from outside to come in or from them to go outside. So that type of a mechanism can be worked, because that will allow the industry or the economy in that area to function without that much of a restriction. And that may help, but that needs to be worked out by people to see how it's practically, how we can do it practically.
Well, you've answered that question straight off the bat, Dr. Guleria. Just one word answer. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the seriousness of our condition, and can we avoid taking a call on this any further?
The seriousness of our condition is almost 8 or 9, if you want my scaling right now. We are really having a huge surge in the number of cases. We're looking at almost 4 lakh cases per day. And this is a cumulative number. And so therefore, each day, if you add 4 lakh sick patients, even if you say only 15 to 20% of them are going to be sick, requiring hospitalization, that's a number which keeps on adding every day. And you can't keep on increasing that many beds every day. So you will have a situation where you will be denying most people an ICU bed or an oxygen bed, because you're really saturated whatever capacity you had, even when you try to double it in terms of the number of beds.
So it's clear as day, Ajay Singh, will the industry be prepared for something like this? Well, I guess we have no choice, but will we have our strategies in place if such a decision is taken?
Well, lives come before any business, for sure. I mean, we are Indians first. We need to look after our people. We need to look after our country. We need to make sure that people don't die on the roads. And for that, if some businesses need to close temporarily, then so be it. As Dr. Guleria was saying, if we have to restrict movement between areas which are highly positive, and those which are not, then so be it. If airlines suffer as a consequence, then so be it. I think we first need to ensure that we save as many lives as we possibly can, and there will be a time to build back our businesses.
Well, that's the debate really, and frankly, it's no debate. Lives above livelihoods for now. That will have to be the choice. We will have to tighten our belts. Either we have to be a very disciplined nation, or we'll have to pay the economic cost. There is not much to choose from at the moment for India. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the News Hour tonight.